All right, everyone, thank you so much for coming out today. We are doing our office hours. It's Wednesday, and every week we do these office hours sessions, and they're really meant to dive into a specific software or a specific app that creators need to use all the time, whether you're making podcasts or some other kind of content. But it's really getting into these different softwares and apps and starting to see how specific things are done, how people who are using them every single day get to use them, develop their workflows so that you can learn. Because sometimes as a creator, you're making up your own workflow and you actually need to see it done by somebody else a different way. And then bam, it unlocks something for you. So that's what we do here on Office Hours. We invite our friends and our colleagues out to come and share their software, not tips and tricks, but maybe their sort of best practices. So welcome today. We're going to have my pal, soon to be your pal, Mr. Brian Colburn.
What's up, pal?
Welcome, Brian. I'll let you do a little intro. Tell the people who you are.
Yeah, my name is Brian Colburn. I own and operate Sitch Radio out of Orange County, California. Lynz and I go back a whole 5 years now.
I think so.
We met at the Outlier Podcast Festival, which you just went to.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of exchanged numbers, kind of stayed in touch, and then higher level conversation started, and now we like hang out, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's good being around other creatives.
It is. And so what kind of shows do you work on? What are your clients like? What do you do?
We are not niche specific. Our mission is to help you tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really care what category it's in, whether it's business or just a hobby show. We are here to help you with whatever you need to get your story told. We have a lot of business shows, a lot of solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and we've worked with 3 global brands to date. So it's been nice working with companies like 511, Reed Exhibitions, and Satcom Direct.
Yeah, that's great. And you've got your own facility there out in Irvine, where you rock and roll, invite people in, and have sessions there with cameras and everything, right?
We do. We are a full service studio. And let me switch a camera around really quick.
What?
There's the booth looking into the stage, or the main stage, if you will. And then our lounge has actually been transformed into set 2, and we've been doing a lot of recording out there. So it's been fun.
That's cool. I know that we worked on a show together last year. We've kind of moved it into being a newsletter now, but our Feed Drops was kind of our baby. And if you ever find the social accounts for Feed Drops, you can see all of these great shots of your studio from when I came and visited there. So yeah, that's some of what Brian does, some of what I do. But today we're here to talk about this magical piece of software shenanigans called Notion. And I don't remember when, sometime last year, when we were working on Feed Drops, I said, hey, let me show you this thing called Notion. And Brian went, oh, that's interesting. And then I don't know how quick it was, but suddenly you were lapping me on your Notion skills. Like you just doom, doom, doom. So
I mean, I used to write SQL calls back in the day for databases. And when you showed me Notion and I went, okay, this is a database, I'm not going to stop right now and wrap my head around this tool. And I put it off for a couple of weeks. And one night I'm sitting at home, my wife fell asleep, TV's on. I open up Notion. I'm just going to explore a little bit and try to learn about this tool Lynz turned me on to. And when I realized you could drag and drop databases to create custom tools for what you want and need, I was sold. And yes, I went hog wild. I run the majority of my business in Notion. I'm in Notion every day. I set my goals, set projects to accomplish those goals, build tasks out for those projects, build tasks with tasks out for that project. It's just everything. I even have media kits for shows in Notion because you can share a page with the web a clickable web link so people can see whatever it is you want to present to them, which is another awesome, awesome feature. And thirdly, it's collaborative. Lynz and I have a collaborative workspace. So I can jump over to his and work on projects and push my piece along and vice versa.
Hmm. Yeah, I like to joke about Notion that my database has got databases. It's just it's sort of like cubed. Like Google Sheets is 2D, Notion is 3D,
Yeah.
and it's pretty powerful. Um, do you want to share your screen and share some of the cool stuff that you've worked on?
Yeah, hook that up. And while you're making sure those permissions are set, if you haven't, I will say, we don't dictate in the manner in which our customers communicate with us. Some will email us show notes. Some we use a tool called Airtable, which is a freemium model, to get titles, descriptions, keywords, publishing dates, etc., back and forth to each other. And a couple of customers have moved into Notion because of a template I actually purchased and then heavily modified. So that's another cool thing about Notion is there's some free templates that I'll show you, but then there are templates that people have constructed and built, and they might be 90% of what you need. Well, you can pay for that template, get it on your Notion, and then take it the rest of that 10% and truly make it your own tool to operate in the manner in which you intend it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's
Nice. Are you able to present? I think
do some presenting here. Screen share window. All right. Welcome to the arena.
Welcome to the arena. I love it.
So I'm actually going to back out. Actually, not back out, but I'm clicking on my shared screen, wondering why stuff's not working. That's awesome. So Notion is a freemium model. You can sign up for free. And if you're looking for low to no cost software solutions, I definitely encourage you take a peek at this one. And I'm just going to move this over here. So when you first create your account, down here in the bottom left, you're going to see templates. A lot of the stuff you're going to see in my Notion started off as a template. So we have categories, if you will: design, engineer, marketing, sales, support, etc. We're going to click into sales, and these are the types of templates you can actually start with. So let's say you need a CRM. Let's say you are forgetting to call somebody on the day and time you said you would call them. And if there was only this magical tool that you could have at your disposal to send you a reminder, that's what a CRM is. So once I choose this template, I can say get template, and sure, let's add it to my general, and it's going to duplicate here for me. And if we go to all records, I can then add my contacts, etc., to this database. And over here, we have an expected closed, last contact, added, and you can set reminders on these dates. So you will actually get, for example, up here, I have 28 reminders right now that are live, but some of them are tasks, not contacts. But that's the basics of Notion at its smallest point. I now have a database. I can create views. That easy. Done. I can say what properties I want to see on this view. And last contact date. And don't want to do that. So I'm in calendar view. Now, typically templates, the data is from the past, if you will, because we're now in the future. So let's open one up and see what kind of dates we're throwing. So 2018, 2019. So on our calendar view, if we were to go to 2018, 2019, we would see things populate here.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing is we can say what we want to see in this view. We can sort and filter each and every view as well. So I can show you that when we get back to my big database. Did I answer your general question?
Yes, you absolutely did. I see. Yeah, I kind of want to see what I have found to be the case is that there are sort of some basic ways to set up Notion to do specific things. But where the real magic comes in is how you start to tie those individual things together in a larger way so that you can see every piece of thing. Some people are using it for what they call a second brain, right? So
Mhm.
it's like where you store your notes for everything and hopefully are able to recall those things and use it to augment your mind. And so I see you've done that for your business.
I have, and we can start with a baby step here. Let's walk before we try to run. This is a template I use for a newsletter that I put out. I have this idea hub, which is really cool. It's like, that would be a great idea for a newsletter. I can open it up and I can just brain dump it into here. And I don't have to detail it, write it out, plans, prioritize, nothing. It's in my idea hub. And then newsletters, you'll be able to see here that I just published and I don't have a new idea yet. So I can actually say new. We'll just call this test for now. New newsletter related to Idea Hub right here. I can just pull one of my ideas. We'll say the ADA model. And now my next newsletter, I already know is going to be about the ADA model. And that will be issue number 13. And you can slowly build this out. But the magic's down here. And let me full screen this. This is the database technical stuff. These are notes attached to this database entry. And all of this can be edited and modified to your liking. For example, write rough draft. I'm going to expand this. And of course, there's information about me, links to sign up, so on and so forth. And I chose a really poor example because I have another one where you open it up and it's like title, tags, keywords, main topic, etc. I love it when stuff like that happens. I've got really cool stuff somewhere.
Well, we're going to find the right thing here. I mean, you're doing so many pages that have different kinds of vibes. And I think that sort of speaks to what Notion can do. But there's a little bit of like, you do have to think a little bit ahead about what you're going to need at times in order to make it the most effective.
Most definitely. So this is the feed drops Notion. So when you open this and say this is going to be a newsletter, it automatically populates information that needs to be filled out. This, some by Lynz staff, some by my staff. Once it's compiled, then we, move it down the line and publish the newsletter on that newsletter publishing platform. And to what Lynz was just speaking about, this is my second brain, we'll call it. And we see notes here. Well, I can create notes and assign them to a project. I can create a note and assign it to a task. I can create a note and assign it to a goal. They're all in the same notes database. However, they're filtered by different things that I'm doing. So if I want to say Sitch Marketing, I can click into Sitch Marketing and pull up Sitch Marketing and see every single project, area resources, favorites, any goals associated with it, and all my notes that are connected to Sitch Radio Marketing. So it's, if you take the time to plan it out and utilize it as it was meant to be, it's a great tool. Now, I'm in the process of taking this one step farther. You saw before I had idea buckets inside my newsletters. Well, I'm going to take that database and pull it into notes. And then the project is going to turn into the newsletter, and I'll be able to remove a couple of databases from my main dashboard here and kind of streamline things and have fewer places to go to do the jobs I need to get done.
Definitely. Right. And so we're looking at it right here. This is basically a like dashboard, right? So that's one of the ways you can use Notion is you can set up a dashboard that has essentially clickable buttons like what we have here. You can also embed certain fields so that next to all these buttons would be the tasks, so you can mix and combine them. Right. There's an example where it has the buttons, it has the clickable stuff, and then a visible calendar to the right. Thank you, Vanna. Beautiful. And so it really is customizable. And I think that's probably the one detractor for it is that um, you do have to set it up, right? Like, and you do have to kind of make it work for you. And then you have to kind of be using it every day, right? And so there's a lot about the habit of using it. And luckily, I think it's sticky enough that it makes me want to use it every day because it's easy to get stuff out of my head and it's easy to do these things. But sometimes that planning stuff can be a little overwhelming just at first.
And I would encourage everybody to take some baby steps. And the very first thing I can say, once you get your account set up and you have a template that you're going to start playing with, duplicate it and put it in something like original templates. And now I have a copy of something I'm working with someplace else. So when I do break it, because I like to break things, I can go back and start from where I started and not have to rebuild everything. But there's a lot of great resources, and I'm looking for one inside of here, but it was like boot camp for Notion. And it's literally a checklist, video tutorials on exactly how to use Notion. And they progressively get deeper and deeper into the product itself. And I still refer to those sometimes and do some learning. And here it is: normal users, basics, pages, icons and covers, templates. So it kind of gives you an understanding of how to use this platform, which can be a big help. But start with a template that is going to make life easier on you. If it truly will, then you'll be more eager to use it and build the habit of opening it every morning when you open your computer. And then you can add to it. I mean, this arena area has had several revisions to it, and I'm slowly dialing it in to exactly what I want. But then you see something new and you're like, "Ooh, shiny lights, I need that too," which I'm very guilty of. Like I said, I'm going to eventually move the newsletter into my command and control center here, or the second brain, if you will.
Yeah. And then also there's the ability to make these pages publicly visible. Are there any pages that you use that allow your clients to see things that this isn't limited to just having a login and all this kind of things, but you're actually turning this into an individual sort of one-off web page?
Yeah, so this is a media kit for Precision Rifle Media that we're working on. They've got decent downloads. They're extremely niched down within the outdoor industry space. But up here, there's a share button, and I can say, I guess it already is. Let's copy the link and find out.
Click it again. The top of the thing, hit publish. It is
Thank
published.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That menu looks like it's changed a little bit, is always the excuse when it comes to software.
Notion does that. Yeah, for sure.
So I can allow editing, allow comments, allow duplicate, search engine indexing, or link expires. I can even put an expiry on it. So right now we're going to leave it as is, and we're going to copy this web link. Now, what I would encourage you to do is take it over to like Short.io and make the link pretty, because telling someone to go to sich-radio.notion.site/precision-rifle-media is just ridiculous. But now this is an uneditable web version of that page that people can see, i.e., potential sponsors for this show.
Right. And you could put a calendar that has a view of the most recent episodes that's always updating. And so this updates based on rules of a view, and not from you having to update anything on the website.
Right. So because of the relationship databases within this tool, I can take, say, I podcast that 2.0, which is a show we just put to bed. This is the episodes that this show has had. Well, this is just a view of a database. This is the gallery view. This view, oh, it had multiple shows on it at one time. So I was even producing multiple shows through this one table. But this is the gallery view. Well, I can easily replicate that view onto the database for that media kit. So every time I publish a new episode, it's automatically added and I don't have to touch it, which is pretty cool. It even allows Zapier to come into play. So you could pull data from third-party platforms onto that public facing and or private facing Notion page as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty a magical thing. What's one of the weirdest things you've used it for so far? Just like maybe it doesn't set, maybe you don't use it every time for that, but you like what's one with the weirdest database you've built?
You know, I built so many, went, oh, this is going to be great. Then I build it and I go, I don't need this.
Mm-hmm.
I've done some of that. You know, one thing, we're a Microsoft house, so we have Teams, we have OneDrive, we have. However, unless you have a @Sitch Radio email address, it's hard for us to collaborate on the Microsoft environment. So what we choose to do is bring that into Notion because we can easily collaborate. You can see all the people I have shared this
Mm-hmm.
database with, and they all have full control and can edit it because I gave them those permissions. So that was easy. Intern timesheets. We work with a local college here for internships, and I built this timesheet out more so to track the progress of their application because I have to log into their system at Cal
Mm-hmm.
State Fullerton, and communication's a little wonky. So I know who's in, who's out, who I offered interviews to, and what the deal is. But then I can actually track their time in it as well, which is cool. It's like any little thing you're like, how can I track this? Notion. Just start with Notion. A lot of people will default to Excel. Well, Excel's that flat file. A database can be searchable, can cross-reference with other databases, can be combined into one view of 6 databases. It's a little more flexible in the long run. And I know people are going to be like, "Oh, databases, I can't build a database." Let me show you this. I have my Sitch Radio, the arena. This is my homepage. Everything starts here for me. Earlier, we created a sales CRM, right? And here it is. Well, I want this sales CRM to be here. I just moved an entire database. It now no longer lives here, it lives here. I can connect this database to this database and migrate data. I can delete this database because I found this one to be a little better. I made a mistake and I don't need this. I can delete it and it's gone. You can export to PDF. You can export data to XLS or CSV. It's really flexible and it's easy to do. Back in the day, I used to hand code creating SQL databases, and this is just ridiculous. It's as easy as I need a database inline and start. So title it, start filling out my cells. I can add columns, add rows, do whatever I need to do. And now I have a database started for whatever project, which is pretty cool. And oh, I made a mistake. Let me delete this. Or oh, this is a really cool resource I want to share with my buddy Lynz. So I can duplicate it and send him the link and let him duplicate it. Or I can duplicate it and move it into our shared Notion, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
So,
you know, let me say this, Lynz. A lot of people that I've shown this to, there's overwhelm. Okay. And I tell them this story. I was actually listening to a podcast. That's right. I listened to them as well about Notion. And they had the gentleman that created Notion on their show. And when they first released Notion, it was like all the bells, all the whistles, all this cool stuff because they're techie people and cool stuff is cool. And then they realized adoption was slow because it was just too overwhelming. You know, when we're really hungry, do we go to McDonald's or do we go to In-N-Out? At In-N-Out, I know what's on the menu: burgers, fries, and sodas. And I'm in and I'm out. I don't have to think about what to order or what tool should I use. So they pulled back on features and they are now methodically releasing new upgrades, new features with office hours and video demonstrations to encourage people to grow with Notion. To include, Notion has AI now. If you saw on I have this AI playground because I was testing it out with things, and was pretty impressed. And that is why I became a paid member of Notion for increased AI calls, which was pretty cool. Can I, a little Notion adjacent?
Yeah.
If you guys are playing with ChatGPT, there is a Chrome and Edge extension that will take your entire ChatGPT, your ask, all the prompts, any revisions.
I'm not sure I understand.
Thank you, Siri. And with one click, it's now in your Notion, wherever you tell it to go. So creating something in ChatGPT, cool. Now I can send it to Notion. Then inside of Notion, I can use AI to further define. I can start to edit on my own. I can make everything cool. I can export it, dump it into Grammarly and correct, all the crazy misspellings, or, I fat finger the keyboard a lot. We'll call it that. And correct it and make it presentable, if you will. So there's a lot of cool things and third-party integrations with Notion that are coming down the pipe as well.
Yeah, I think that they're, what really sold me, I don't know if I listened to the same interview you did or a different one, but that the creator of Notion was talking about how at the end of the day, this is the most powerful no-code software builder out there, but it's disguised as a database or a to-do list or all these other things. And so that he said that if you just learn how to use the features of this, the way they're rolling them out, that when it gains its full size and scope as a no-code production environment, if you just get started now and follow along as new things are added and just increase your awareness, you'll be a coding person through this software by the time you get there. And I think that's such a great way to envision this, is that he's really leveling up everyone's ability to think about this as a system of information and giving us ways to make them interrelate. And then there's like, oh, it doesn't interrelate the way I want it to. Well, a few months from now, they're going to open up this thing, and all of a sudden, I remember when they added recurring tasks, right? Because you had to just make a task for each thing. Well, now you can set up recurring tasks.
Yep.
And so even in ways that it's limited, there are workarounds, and it stays really powerful.
And one cool thing about Notion that I really enjoy is I'm going to build a database for X. You know what? I have a great example. Let me share it. I came across a simple database for quotes. And I went, this is cool, because as a digital creator, we all want to find a quote to enhance what we're trying to get across or whatnot. And I went, you know what? I've never in years of life started a database for it. Well, I went, you know what? This is too easy. I'm just going to start a database here. And when I first started this database, I also included a template for my daily gratitude journal. And then I went, you know what? This database, I'm probably going to share with somebody, and I really don't want them looking at my gratitude journal. That's something for me. It's personal. It's not to be shared with others. So all I did was duplicate, delete all my gratitude stuff from this view, and now I have a quotes database. And then up here, I have my gratitude database, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have to start from scratch because all that data was in a database.
Yeah. Um, nice. Well, I think we've given a pretty good treatment here, and it's been great to have you, Brian. And any other sort of notes on Notion you want to add before we wrap this baby up?
You know what? It's free. You can click templates. You can start with a free template. You can play around with it and see if it's for you. Um, if you start dumping a lot of data into a database, duplicate it, back it up every once in a while. So there is no data loss. I've never had an issue losing data on this
Mm-hmm.
platform. Um, but start playing with it and then go to Google. For example, here we go again, dude. I'm going to start up a whole new conversation, Lynz. For example, I need some sort of event planner. So I think I found this one on Etsy. And this is an in-person physical event. Okay. They already had this beautiful template built out, event planner, meetings, tasks, suppliers, photo library for the event. And I'm working on an in-person event, helping people to learn how to use Chat GPT for podcast production. And I started planning for this live person event inside of Notion, which was pretty cool. So that would be my recommended course for everybody who's new to Notion. Go play with some free templates, see if it's really for you, before you dive in wholeheartedly and invest a lot of time and or money into Notion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say that too, if you know yourself and you know that you're not going to self start your way into this, get a buddy or reach out to one of us, and we're happy to coach you. We both do our own coaching programs for content creators, and so pick whoever style you vibed with and give us a call. We're really I like helping people discover how to use things to make their lives easier, and I know Brian does too. That's one of the things that reasons we get along.
You know what? I look at it as if I can help my customer or potential customer use a system we're already familiar with, but it's going to improve their production cycle, then it's a win-win.
Yeah,
So I really like that aspect of it.
yeah, yeah. So it's really great. We can help you, and also you can stay in touch with us. Follow us. What we do. Brian is all over here on LinkedIn, but also Sitch Radio is up on all the socials. Definitely check out him and his website. And then you can always check out what I'm doing at Growth Network Podcast or on our socials as well. This has been another lovely office hours. And
Dude, I,
yeah,
I never thanked you. Thank you for letting me come on and share a little bit about something I'm passionate about with your audience. This is cool.
well, it's awesome too because couldn't be a better guy to do it with. It's always fun to get on a call with you, and I have a fun time. I mean, I learned even though I know what we're talking about. You sort of even I'm still learning as we go, so it's pretty great.
I am too. And I need to tease something. You're going to be able to get Lynz Florin, the very own, emceeing a webinar I'm putting on the 8th. And it's going to be about AI powered podcasting and how the two can gel for podcast production. So, more information about that coming soon.
Coming
But
soon.
you'll get a little more, you'll get a little Lynz and a lot of me, which I guess is what you got today. Sorry.
No, it's but we're gonna do about a whole different set of stuff. So if you like
Yeah.
our banter, our snappy patter, then come enjoy that one as well.
Lynz, I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you too, man. Thank you so much, and I'll see y'all next week.